Hello everybody and welcome to another game of TA Escalation. Guys, I have not casted this game in so long and I really wanted to cast it, so I hope you are as excited about getting back into this as I am. Today we are casting a match. This is a best of two between Race and theFEZ on a map called V Corrupted. It feels like there's about 100 different versions of this corrupted map, but either way they are all pretty good, and I am looking forward to having a very good game between these two players. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Here in the top right corner we have Race in the blue trunks, the arm commander, starting vehicle first, a nice choice. And here in the bottom left in the purple, we've got FEZ with the core commander going K-bots first. So guys, again, this is a best of two. What we're going to do here is observe this first game. There's about 1 million different variations of this map, corrupted. I don't know what the deal is with it. Everyone seems to love this map, and there's so many variations. There's like 1v1 versions and team versions and all kinds of different craziness, but either way, it is kind of a classic map at this point. It's part of the Venom map pack, and I am very interested to see how this game in particular pans out. Now, one thing that you have to kind of know about playing 1v1s in Escalation is that it's always really fun to see how greedy the players want to be. Race starting out with 3 constructed vehicles, that is a rather greedy start. Where his opponent has built, his opponent has 3 cons, but is also building a ton of AKs as well. But, you know, this is a rather big map, and maybe both players feel that they can go for a greedier posture to try to take advantage of all the metal. There's tons of eco on this map. As you guys can see, there's metal spots galore, but they are pretty spread out. And, you know, Race has actually built quite a few Samsons, but I don't see them. Where did they go? Here's one up here, and there's one down here, but he didn't build one in the middle, so this spot right here has been left undefended. This one AK coming right in the nick of time. It's gonna find this con, and gonna ignore the con. Interesting. Gonna go straight for the eco there, and that defender will get up. Of course, one defender will take a little while versus AKs. Defenders are better against the weasels, the land scouts, than they are against AKs. So yeah, this one AK could be quite annoying. He has already taken out 2 mexes. Might get a third before that flash ends up taking his life. So yeah, very annoying little AK. He does take out 3 mexes. Not a huge blow. He didn't get a construction vehicle. Fez probably knowing that he wasn't going to get a construction vehicle with just 1 AK, so he opted for the eco damage instead. But either way, not a bad start on Fez's part. But guys, I have to say on this map, I do favor the vehicles. I think vehicles are a little better for a wide open map like this. Of course, there are some trees, but just personal preference. Both Fez and Race, very good players and certainly capable of making decisions on their own without my input. Fez now opting to go for a vehicle plant second, and Race already on his second vehicle plant. So both players getting on their second plant. Race is on the vehicle game plan. And FEZ has decided to diversify, going part vehicle, part K-bot. But I have to say, I think Race might do better to have actual light laser towers here than just defenders. Defenders are, like I said, a nice counter to air and a nice counter to Jeffies or Weasels, but they're not as good against AKs as our light laser towers. Now, as we can see here, FEZ has quite a significant force moving up the map. Of course, AKs are a little bit slow, so it might take a bit for those AKs to get into position. But there's already a few up here right now. Of course, in a direct engagement, flashes will be AKs pretty easily, but the AKs are a little more maneuverable just in terms of their ability to accelerate and turn on a dime and things like that. As you can see, the flashes kind of have to rotate their tracks and things like that. So the question is, can FEZ get this con? That would be a really big pickup if he could take that out. But no, he doesn't even get the con. So far in this game, no cons have been killed on either side that I've seen. And, ooh, really nice play by Race there, blocking the entrance with these vehicles, kind of creating a wall of flesh. To prevent these AKs from getting through. And but speaking of that, the first con in the game has been claimed, and FEZ now moving through with some AKs. He needs to turn his shoot all on. He clearly should have been shooting that right there. There he goes. He turns it on, so now he will be shooting the eco. Game might be a little loud. Let me just turn it down just a tad bit. So, basically, FEZ has really been the aggressor this game, and he has done some eco damage. As you can see, if you look at the top left here, FEZ at about 10 metal per second ahead. And FEZ also doing a very good job building a couple light laser towers here to stop this aggression, but the question is, will 2 light laser towers be enough? This is a lot of flashes. Light laser towers are decent against flashes, but they're better if they have a like dragon's teeth around them. So yeah, these those light laser towers will go down, and yeah, what's next? Big battle here in the middle. AKs versus flashes. And let's go ahead and look at the player bases real quick. Now, FEZ is building levelers now. Levelers are a great counter to flashes if they can keep up with them. Obviously, flashes are quite a bit faster, but levelers are a great counter if they can get in range. They simply tear flashes apart. They are called the riot tank for a reason. And this flash in serious trouble. But finally, Race beginning to do his own harassment for the first time in the game. He has broken through and has found an entrance into FEZ's base. Big fight here on the east side as well. And yeah, these flashes are going to get some economic damage done. Nothing too devastating or crippling just yet, but certainly annoying. And he has managed to take out quite a few metal spots with that flash raid. But the FEZ now moving to advanced K-bots, and both players about equal on eco. Race a little ahead at this point, but not considerably ahead. And this is interesting. Race is going now into his 4th vehicle plant. So Race opting to stay on the T1 game plan. And a little surprising that he's not going for air. Race, we've seen, can control air very well. He's not a noob by any stretch of the imagination. And just going for 5 vehicle plants, I'm not really sure what that's about. Race with air here could do so much damage. FEZ has no air defense at all. 1 pulverizer, that's all I see anywhere on the map. A good bomber run could absolutely devastate FEZ's base. But guys, as I said before, these levelers a great counter to most T1 units, especially flashes. And of course stumpies are decent too. But I like that FEZ has also included some storms in the mix. Storms are a really great combination. Really great in T1 skirmishes if you can micro and kite them well. So that's a that certainly may make the difference in this game. Very nicely done by FEZ to include those levelers in the mix. But my main concern here, really, guys, has more to do with this advanced K-Bot lab. FEZ already on T2 and already teching up. That could be an absolute disaster. And now Race doing a pretty good job now of blocking off that entrance. Certainly this entrance is easier in terms of having more surface area to enter, but there are quite a bit of units now streaming down into FEZ's side of the map. And as I mentioned before, man, these levelers, very powerful in these direct engagements. Really, the levelers' one big weakness is their range, and they're kind of slow compared to some other T1 units, but you can get them in range, they are quite strong. Of course, Stumpies are a decent counter as well to levelers, so Stumpy versus leveler will be pretty close. The Stumpy might be a little bit better overall just in terms of cost effectiveness, but either way, FEZ has broken through here. He's doing some good damage. And now has some pyros as well, and these pyros could do absolutely devastating damage, but Race has brought a tiny contingent of flashes, about, I don't know, 8 or 10, let's see, 8, 9 in total, and he has really found a hole in FEZ's defense, and FEZ quickly and desperately reacting with his pyros. Pyros, of course, will melt flashes into a puddle, and they are nearly as fast as flashes, maybe even faster, so shouldn't have too much of a problem keeping up with them. But these 2 flashes do get by. Very annoying, and they will do some damage to the eco here of the wind generators. But and I don't expect them to do too awful much. In the meantime, some Stumpies here on the east side of the of FEZ's base. But in the meantime, FEZ doing his own little economic harassment on the top west corner of the map. So both players dealing some economic damage. But FEZ, I think, is going to pull out ahead just because he's on T2. You can start getting those Moho mexes up. And that may make a huge difference overall, even though Race continuing to harass his eco. Both players are still very close. Both players doing a lot of great harassing. But ultimately, with FEZ being on T2, that might make a big difference. In fact, that's a lot of pyros. That's a lot of pyros, guys. That's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 maybe? 14 or 15? I mean, we've mentioned in Bar how strong pyros are. It's really not that much different in Escalation. These units at the beginning of the T2 phase of the game are one of the strongest units. Of course, in Bar they're called Fiends, but it's essentially the same unit. It is just a nice, pretty fast skirmishing and harassment K-bot. Very strong against T1 units, but also good against harassing enemy eco lines. If they can get into the back line, they're incredibly powerful at just melting any kind of enemy infrastructure or economy. And they have a decent amount of health. I mean, they are still T2, so they're not squishy. Of course, they're not exactly behemoths either. I mean, they don't have a ton of health, but they have enough health to get the job done, and that's all that really matters. And I have to think that when these pyros do finally hit races back line, they might just end the game on their own. Certainly, I have casted many a game of TA Escalation where pyros have been the deciding factor. But another component of this that's really relevant is that pyros, if insofar as they take really good trades against T1, Race may find that he's just throwing his units into the meat grinder, or in this case the Inferno. And that is kind of a tale as old as time when it comes to Escalation. It's not just about doing economic damage, but also you want to make sure that you're getting favorable trades on your opponent in terms of their military engagements. If you, I mean, more or less, if every time you fight, if every time your two armies clash, you're taking huge losses, then you will generally lose a war of attrition, and these pyros are just so strong against T1. And so far, that's all that Race has really had is T1 units. Now he is on T2, but it seems like he just got to T2, and he's now pumping out Panthers. But is it too little too late? I mean, that's kind of my question. These pyros have already done so much work, but you know, Race isn't out of it yet. He's doing a decent job of defending. But FEZ is also doing a decent job of defending. And FEZ's economy is kind of exploding at this point. He's been on T2 quite a bit longer. And these pyros may end the game here. Let's see. He could take out this Geo. That would be a nice pickup. Yeah, so far this is a pretty close game, pretty good overall. Both players doing a good job. Oh, this one storm is very annoying. There's one storm back here just kind of taking out wind generators. It seems like he's already killed quite a few with this one storm. Let's see how many kills it has. 22 kills on this one storm. That's super annoying for sure. Just to have that one guy in your back line. And if this pyro could kill one energy storage, this would create a chain reaction. Race desperately trying to prevent this from happening, body blocking with his tanks, and he will barely keep that energy storage alive. I'm kind of amazed, to be honest, that lived. But again, the endless, ruthless pyro harassment here or Fiends if you're from Bar. These are just such great early game T2 units. It's just non-stop harassment, and Race not out of it yet. Those pyros certainly have been a nuisance, but he is now building Panthers to counter. Panthers are a decent counter to pyros. They do outrange them, I believe. And they are nearly as fast as pyros, or probably about the same speed. So Panther's a decent counter to pyros. No, maybe the pyros are a little faster. As you can see, the pyros kind of running off. Well, the Panther's kind of catching up. Like I said, they're similar speeds, but I think the Panthers do outrange the pyros slightly. But now a pyro attack coming through the middle as well. It feels as though there are pyros literally everywhere. And, God, that's got to be annoying for Race. He's doing what he can to kind of keep his side of the map under control. But, man, these pyros are just, yikes. I mean, it's pretty nasty to watch. Panthers doing the best they can to create this mobile defensive reaction force, but the pyros continue to stream in, and in the meantime, there is almost no pressure being applied on FEZ's side. He's building a Dragon's Teeth wall here, which is kind of a nice move. It will certainly make Race have to take the long way around. And, yeah, FEZ will get another Geo, it seems like. So yeah, this Dragon's Teeth wall, very well timed. Very annoying for FEZ. I mean, excuse me, for Race to try to get... So now he's going to have to go the long way. And in the meantime, FEZ continuing to harass his base and use those pyros for exactly what they're intended for, which is just that devastating eco-harassment and raiding potential. I mean, Race just really struggling to deal with all this pressure. It is so difficult. And now FEZ having a giant economic lead. And oh, here we go. FEZ not content to simply harass his opponent with endless waves of T2K bots. He must add insult to injury by bringing these bombers into the mix. And could a massive T2 bombing run be enough? Could that be the death knell, the death blow to Race's base? Oh my god, Race in so much trouble he doesn't even know how much trouble he's in. His whole side of the map has just kind of been decimated. These pyros are completely out of control. And now the bombers coming in, I'd say, to finish off the game. Wow. Yeah, now he's line bombing. He doesn't know if there's units there or buildings. He's just kind of clicking on the map, hoping he can get something. But either way, yeah, Race calling GG. He knows it's over. This advanced vehicle plant will go up in flames. And then hitting the second advanced vehicle plant. And, guys, I'm not sure what to say about that game. Basically, if I had to summarize it, I think FEZ got to T2 more quickly, started upgrading his economy more quickly, and just put on that endless... ruthless pyro harassment, and then went air to finish the game, and that's all it really took. Race definitely could have played that better. I've seen Race play a lot better. Race could have gone to T2 first, or he could have gone air instead of 5 vehicle plants. But either ways, guys, a very good game. Well played by both sides, but we saw that FEZ really kind of took control of that game from the very start. He had a lot of a lot of harassment with the K-bots, and transitioned into a really nice T2 phase and aerial bombardment operation. And yeah, overall it worked out really well for him. So guys, let's go to game 2 of this set and see what happens. Hello everybody, and welcome to game 2 of FEZ versus Race. This time we are on a map called Deadly T. And guys, this is a pretty big map for a 1v1, if I'm going to be honest. This is definitely a map that was designed originally, I think, more for like team game scenarios. There is a ton of metal everywhere, all over the place. And there's metal in the water as well. In fact, I think I've casted like 5v5s on this map. So yeah, this is a huge map for just for a 1v1 type scenario. So guys, strap yourselves in. You know, this may be a long game. This is called Deadly T, if you can see the T there. This is part of the Deoxide map pack, and we'll speed it up a little bit, but yeah, this could be a long one, guys. This is a big map, and so grab your Doritos and Mountain Dew, you know, your popcorn, your Red Bull, your tea and crumpets, your coffee and bagels, whatever it is that you use to you know, placate yourself, to entertain yourself while you watch something very interesting on the television or the computer monitor or the phone or the tablet or whatever it is that you are using. This just, you need to strap yourself in, because this is going to be an epic match between Race and the FEZ. Race here on the east side, of course, the blue armed commander, and he has gone vehicle first, and of course FEZ in the magnificent purple on the west side and going core vehicle first. So here at the beginning, nothing too out of the ordinary in terms of the player starts. Race with a couple Jeffies here, just for scouting and harassment purposes, and he might catch this con here that is coming down. Of course, this con will build a radar just to give him a little bit of advanced notice about whatever annoying Jeffies are around, and so FEZ will see this on the radar, but his light laser tower will not be in time to stop it. Of course, it looks a little bugged out now because it does complete, even though it had no HP. And yeah, so he does get that light laser tower up in time, and that will kill that one annoying little Jeffy that was causing so much frustration. And Race, once again, on the vehicle plant game plan. I don't know about this Race. This is kind of what he did last time, and I think it's a little too cute. It's a little too simple. I think Race is a much better player than this, and I hope to see him do more interesting things than just vehicles this time. This is a great map for hovercrafts. You know, there's an option to enter your base through the coast, enter your opponent's base through the coastline, and to devastating effect. And even Naval isn't a horrible option on this map. It's maybe not the best map for Naval, but you can hit your opponent's shoreline with some of the longer range options. Some of the T2 Naval options will afford you the capability to deal some real economic damage to your opponent, and of course hovercrafts as well. But kind of as in the first game, FEZ is going advanced vehicle plant prior to his opponent, going to T2 first. But Race, I am happy to see, is going air first. So again, Race's air control is one of the best in the biz. Oh, and Race also going naval. That is so awesome. Guys, hang on. Hold that thought. Some battles going on down here in the bottom of the map. And a Race with a bomber. And he's going to take that all the way to the south. And then he's going to go straight west with it. And the Fez really going crazy with the light laser towers here in the bottom left. But yeah, here come these bombers. He will get 4 mexes there, a radar tower, and a con as well. More bombers coming in. We'll probably get another con for his trouble. Almost. Not quite, but he can swing around and do another run at the construction vehicle here. He will get it. But in the meantime, let's slow it down. In the meantime, Fez with his own little harassment shenanigans. Of course, Javelin's a great counter to the levelers. In the last game I was talking about Stumpies being similarly matched against levelers, but Javelins are just strong against levelers. They outrange them, and they can just kind of kite them. I think Javelin is a great counter to levelers. And these bombers continuing to harass this position, kill all these light laser towers. And it's a little surprising to me that he didn't go for the actual main base of FEZ. Like this advanced vehicle plant would have been a great target. There's really not too much air defense here. But of course he probably doesn't know that advanced vehicle plant exists yet. So maybe that would be a hindrance to the bombing campaign. But at the same time, Race with a ton of vanguards here, which is your let's see, prototypical T1 escort frigate. So these have, if I remember, relatively short-ranged anti-naval missiles. I'm not sure why he's going for those instead of Crusaders. Crusaders would be better here. They might be able to hit the coastline. These vanguards will be good against other naval ships and hovercraft, but not so good against anything under the water. If I remember, these do not have any anti-sub capability, and they're not going to be able to hit the land either. So these are cheaper than Crusaders, and I think they might even have a little bit of anti-air capability. But maybe at this point, Race just trying to control the sea. Here comes a bomber attack. He is going to take out one pulverizer, and he will now be aware that his opponent is on T2. Seeing that Manticore does kind of give it away. So Race also with an attack here at the bottom of the map. So you got to give props to Race. He is attacking on 3 fronts here. He's got a ton of vanguards moving up the north of the map. He had a bomber attack here. Of course, there was tons of air defense near the starting base. So he will lose most of those thunders. But at the same time, he is attacking here at the southwest with a land force as well. So so Race really really coming in at all angles. A combined land-sea-air attack. That is what we love about Total Annihilation. We love the land-sea-air combined forces attacks. That is always one of the most interesting components of this game. You just won't find it in other RTSs. You just won't. You just won't. Like, the TA franchise is really the only RTS franchise I know that has all 3 and does it all very well. There's other games that have tried to do it. Okay, I'm not going to say that the attempt was not made. It's just that the attempt did not pan out. I'm thinking of if you know Eugen Games, they're a famous French developer. They made the War Game series. War Game Red Dragon attempted to add C, and yeah, that kind of speaks for itself. Didn't turn out so well, and since then they just kind of gave up on having C in their games. So anyway, Race doing a really great job here, but these torpedo launchers are a problem simply because as you can see, the Vanguards are just not very good at targeting them. It seems to have something to do with the targeting AI, but it seems like these urchins are such difficult targets for the missiles to hit that it seems like a lot of times the missiles from the Vanguards just miss them, just kind of hit the water. So the urchins are a good counter. Basically, this whole area is going to be a little bit off limits to those Vanguards. However, a Crusader could probably outrange the urchins with its top-mounted cannon. We will see here in a second if that's true. Yeah, they can outrange them, I think, but it's very close. I mean, maybe not. Maybe the Crusader can't outrange it, because that Crusader just got demolished. Almost. One more hit. There it goes. And as I already said, these Vanguards just tend to miss the urchins. So it feels like these urchins can just hit those with near impunity. But man, Race is really in control of this game. He has just put that non-stop pressure on the ground, in the sea, and in the air. Now he has not broken FEZ's base yet, but if you just look at the bottom left, he's using his eco so much better. FEZ is at full metal. He can't use his metal right now. He's unable to keep up with the production costs. But FEZ, utilizing these torpedo launchers, has entered back into the sea. He's building a shipyard again, or he has built a shipyard again. And guys, he has a ton of metal corpses all over the water, so this could be a good supply of mass if he would use his mass. I mean, right now he's not using his metal, but if he does start using his metal, this would be a nice supplement to his eco. Oh shoot! I need to do the sonar command, don't I? I need to see what's. There we go. Now we can see what's under the water. So basically, Race doing a very valiant job. Now guys, on this map, tidal energy is very cost effective. Each one of these tidal generators will give 24 energy per second. So that's a incredibly cost effective way to get your energy, and I think Race, realizing that, is trying to harm FEZ's eco with this attack, taking out all those tidal generators at the top left corner of the map. But FEZ with a nice counterattack with Manticores and Reapers and some Crashers. So this army of FEZ is like super anti-air. He's got Manticores can hit air, Crashers can hit air. Yeah, anything that flies over this army will get Yeetus Deletus in about 2 seconds flat. So I assume Race is going to avoid that with his aerial armada. He will take his bombers north, it seems. But how is he going to react to this? Javelins and flashes, not really the best counter to this composition. Of course, Manticores can simply outrange javelins and flashes. Reapers are also incredible against any kind of T1 in the game, any kind of T1 ground army. Race does, however, have a nicely placed sentinel surrounded by Dragon's Teeth. And unfortunately, FEZ doesn't really have much to deal with that. None of his units can really hit the sentinel behind the Dragon's Teeth. So, well played by both players. FEZ with a nice attack, but Race with a good defensive posture there to halt that aggression. And he does still have this aerial armada kind of ready for the ready for some kind of engagement. But I don't know, is FEZ overproducing Crashers here? Crashers are good against air. They have a nice vision radius, so as you can see, they can see pretty far, which is one of the better things about the Crashers, is they giving you that line of sight. But I think he's overproducing them here. He doesn't need like 20 of them. I would rather see some storms in this composition. What else am I thinking of? Storms or MAKs. MAK would be a pretty good option against flashes and even Panthers. Of course, Crashers are, you know, they can outrange, and if he kites well, this army will outrange. Perhaps that's what he's going for. He's trying to use this long-range engagement style with the Manticores and the Crashers. The problem is that it might be good for combat if microed well, but it's not as good once you start trying to invade the enemy base, because once you hit defenses, you can't really kite defenses. So this army composition, certainly interesting. I won't turn my nose up at it, but certainly seems to be designed more for skirmishing than for base destruction purposes. And these Panthers are a decent counter as well, because they're fast. They have a, you know, good chunk of health for a cheap T2 unit, and they can get on top of these long-range Manticores and Crashers without too much trouble. And as you can see, FEZ's force is just getting demolished. However, Race is now attacking with a ton of zappers. He has gone the hovercraft route, and he will use that to his full advantage. But I don't know about this angle. I wish he would have come up here. Just attack right here. I mean, all of FEZ's units are basically at this bottom part of the river here. If Race had just brought his hover army here, I mean, there's almost no defense. He could have just taken out the advanced vehicle plant and done a lot of eco damage instead of moving his hovercraft into the core of FEZ's army. That just didn't seem like the best option. But here in the north, we have yet another attack, yet another assault force, you know, naval fleet moving in to FEZ's base. But guys, I'm sorry, there is just way too many urchins. There's like, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over a dozen urchins. And even a force this big just cannot tolerate that many torpedoes. They can't endure that many torpedoes. And plus, we've got some enforcers as well, dishing out that long-range firepower. So that was an ill-advised attack. Really, Race needs to be scouting better. He is finally sending some scouts over. But yeah, if Race would scout a little better, he might be a little more wary of some of these options that he's some of the choices he's made seem to be misinformed, but here come the bombers. They are going to target this advanced vehicle plant. They will take it out, I think. No. That was a miss micro on Race's part. That was a miss micro. He could have easily taken out that advanced vehicle plant, but he thought he got it. He just needed 1 or 2 more bombers to finish it off, but ultimately he doesn't take out the advanced vehicle plant, and it will survive with 1 hit. And he doesn't really accomplish much of anything. He might have gotten a couple of extractors, but in the big scheme of things, it wasn't a huge pickup. And we got to give some credit to theFEZ. He's doing a great job of holding on here. Even though Race has been the aggressor for pretty much the whole game, he just hasn't been able to inflict that game-ending damage. Like, for example, he tried to take the sea over a couple times and just couldn't do it. Just hasn't been able to take control of the sea. And once again is putting pressure on theFEZ, but just cannot take control of the naval portion of the game, and that is very frustrating, I'm sure. He's also done a lot of ground attacks and just hasn't been able to really break theFEZ's base, even with that, with all those hovercraft. And if he had attacked like here with the hovercraft, he probably could have done game-ending damage or really harmed theFEZ's eco, but theFEZ has done a good job of just kind of hanging in there and thwarting every attack, and just being, like I said, an overall nuisance. We do have some bulldogs in the mix now, and bulldogs are I mean, I've mentioned this in previous casts, but bulldogs are kind of like the quintessential all-round, well-rounded T2 tank. Just does everything kind of well. I mean, they're decent speed, tons of health, great firepower, range, AoE. Bulldogs require specialized counters, and they are just going to shred through theFEZ's army if left unchecked. Now, theFEZ's army has a nice range, but these bulldogs are so damn tanky, and as the bulldogs continue to pour in, that is going to create a big power vacuum. I think it's going to be difficult for theFEZ to stop this. But in the meantime, theFEZ bringing down his massive armada of enforcers, and Race bringing these swatters onto land. Hang on, guys, let me turn it down. It might be getting a little loud, but yeah, Race bringing these swatters onto the land, but swatters are more anti-air than anything, so I'm not sure why he built all these swatters and then didn't use them for the naval portion, because swatters, I think, have the depth charges, so they would have been okay against the enforcers. Maybe not great, but they could have at least killed a few, I think. But bringing them onto land like that, definitely not the hovercraft that you want to fight the land engagements. There are much better hovercrafts for harassing than the swatters. But again, this bulldog army may have reached critical mass here. Once you get enough bulldogs, your opponent can be in a lot of trouble. Of course, Goliaths are a decent counter to Bulldogs because Goliaths are kind of a slower, more heavily armored, higher DPS Bulldog. So with enough Goliaths, he may be able to stop this attack, but FEZ really starting to become scary in the ocean here. So we'll have to see what Race wants to do. Now Race would do pretty well to move to maybe T2 Naval. Some T2 Naval options could be pretty strong. But overall, the sea battle is just raging, and it's still anybody's game. But in these choke point situations, the withering fire of the destroyers is incredibly difficult to deal with. You don't want to clump up your army against destroyers, because they do have pretty great AoE capability. But now FEZ moving his army down the west side, and he has some Goliaths in the mix here. As I said, a decent counter to Bulldogs, if you have enough. But Race now on T2 hovers. That's a pretty interesting option. Rebels, let me see. I think it was called the Riot. If I remember, it was called the Riot hover tank. No, Shotgun Assault hover tank. So we'll have to see how good these are. I'm not sure that's what I would have gone for. But maybe. We've got the Medusa, the Rebel. I mean, it depends on what Race is trying to do with it. I don't think this is the best for... I don't think this hover tank is necessarily the best for these engagements with the Enforcers, but it might be good if he's trying to bypass the naval battle altogether and make landfall with those T2 hover tanks. But yeah, FEZ has decided to move through the southern portion of the naval of this T, of the naval T, and this naval battle continues to rage as both sides are pretty equally matched in terms of their army compositions here. And here at the far south of the map, the land battle continues to rage as well. There's a lot of Bulldogs, but there's also a lot of Goliaths. And remember, Goliaths are even stronger than Bulldogs. Of course, they cost an arm and a leg to build. Goliaths are not cheap, but they are strong, and they are very hard to kill. Now, this a couple immolators in range as well, and immolators are very nice T2 anti-swarm defense. Anything that walks into their range will be burned to a crisp, as we can see. And I think that will be the end of this push. FEZ doing a very decent job of counterattacking and defending that off with those immolators and Goliaths. But now, Race may be doing a counterattack of his own. He does have one rebel here. I'd like to see a second one. I'd like to see a second rebel. A couple rebels moving through FEZ's base could do a lot of damage. But yeah, FEZ quick to react to this. It seems like he knows it's coming. He probably has radar of this. Probably has a T2 radar. And he will use his enforcers to create a wall. As I said, the Rebel is maybe not the best option for naval combat against enforcers, but it might be decent if it can get on top of the enforcers But again, as you can see, the Rebel doesn't have great range, so those enforcers are just going to kind of outrange it, and they do. But now we have FEZ on T2 Naval, and guys, T2 Naval is just stronger than T2 hovers on the water, so expect FEZ to begin winning these naval confrontations quite convincingly. The longer that FEZ stays on T2 Naval and pumps out these executioners and what are these? The shredders. The shredders and executioners, both very powerful anti-naval options. I'm sorry, but yeah, Race's T2 hovers just aren't going to be able to. They're just not going to be able to keep up. It's going to be a slaughter. Of course, Race now building his own T2 Naval option, but I don't know. We'll have to see if it's in time. FEZ already starting to build up an army of T2 Naval, and that if he attacks with it now, he may be able to kill Race's navy before he can even respond. But more importantly is this battle at the bottom. Guys, there are equal numbers of Goliaths as there are Bulldogs. That is never a good situation for the Bulldogs, and these Goliaths may take control here. However, we do have some shooters and some Phoenixes. Race, I love it. I love the airplay. Oh my god, the Phoenix control is absolutely amazing. And oh, you can see the power of well-microed bombing runs. He takes out a ton there. He takes out 3 metal spots, advanced vehicle plant, a Geo, and some Goliaths. So yeah, that aerial attack was very well timed and very well done, and it will force FEZ back. FEZ still unable to even use his metal. Race doing a better job of just kind of using his eco. But in fairness to FEZ, he's been doing a good job of using the units he does have. But I'm not sure what this is about. I'm not sure why he's consolidating all his boats here. He might be better to try to move through and do some damage. But yeah, as I said, these executioners, true to their name, they will just chew through these hovercraft like there's no tomorrow. This is just a very well designed army, and I don't think FEZ realizes how superior he is in terms of his naval composition right now. I mean, if FEZ knew how much stronger his army was, he would probably already be moving through and capitalizing on his advantage. But the longer he waits, the more time he gives his opponent to build his own cruisers. But yeah, FEZ at this moment is scary in the water. Very scary army, very scary composition. And all he needs to do is move this fleet into Race's base. Again, these rebels just not so great in sea battles. They're just too short-ranged. Most naval units are just going to outrange them. The rebel better on land, better as maybe a harassing unit or against like T1 spam. But Race building up his own little land counterattack here. But there is just so many Goliaths. I just don't know if it's I don't see this being successful against that many Goliaths. But oh man. Look at FEZ's naval force just chew through this stuff. I think what FEZ is trying to do with this is I think he's trying to take out some of the land units. But Race with a nice counterattack here. And ironically, by bringing those naval units into range of the land, he's actually making them much more vulnerable than they would otherwise be. So that's a pretty nasty situation. And FEZ will end up losing most of his naval force there. And I felt like if he had maybe just used it a little sooner, maybe he had just attacked a little earlier, he might have been able to do some nice damage to Race's base on the sea, his sea base. Might have even been able to take out these shipyards. But some scouts flying over. And we'll have to see what the players want to do here. Let's see. Race on T2 air, but we already knew that. And a nice force of Zeus's moving through, but FEZ does have a battleship. So I can't imagine that these Zeuses are going to achieve too much against all of this Goliaths and warlords and executioners and everything else. And wow, look at all the GATs down here. Look at all the heavy laser towers mixed with the immolators. That's quite impressive. Quite an impressive defense there. And even the Bulldogs, I think, just kind of melting to this. Yeah, really nice defense by FEZ down here to try to halt this aggression. And yeah, that warlord will just pelt all the Zeuses from a huge distance. Let's see how much. 6 kills so far. We can expect to see that number increase. 7 kills. And yeah, these Zeuses don't stand a chance against the warlord's withering fire. However, Race has started to build a pretty massive fleet of his own. And all FEZ really has left is just this one warlord. So, I mean, let's see what else he's got. He's got a second warlord coming out, or that's already been built, but it's got to move down the map. He does have another executioner. But, yeah, this warlord, very, very nasty. Great naval support. It's got 8 kills. And even if it doesn't get the killing blow, it's just softening up everything. It's just softening up all the targets on the land with this endless barrage of cannon fire. Giving those Goliaths the opportunity to move in and deal some devastating damage of their own. And of course we have a lot of shooters here, but those do want to stay at range, and if those Goliaths can get on top of the shooters, they will evaporate them in no time flat. But Race beginning to build his own very scary kind of naval force. And Race now on the retreat. That second warlord is now in range of these mariners and this conqueror. Shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. Yeah, these two warlords can be pretty scary. But will these Goliaths break through? That's kind of the question. Will these Goliaths be able to achieve anything substantial? We do have a lot of shooters and an annihilator here. Some pretty good counters. So pretty good counters to the Goliaths, but there's just a lot of them. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be enough Goliaths. They might be able to get this Annihilator, but the shooters are still hitting from afar, and now the rebels have made landfall. So yeah, I think that attack was pretty nice, but ultimately not enough Goliaths. And I think if Fez wants to make any headway with a land attack, he's probably going to need to go T3. I don't think Goliaths are going to be enough to really break through all that defense, and of course he already is on T3, so you know, AWA has heard me, and he recognizing that he's going to need something a little stronger than Goliaths to break through that disgusting amount of defense. Some behemoths would be good. Mammoths. Of course, we've seen Pounders win games. Overlord, probably a bit much at this point. But, you know, even some Blazes, perhaps. An army of Blazes. There's a lot of options that he can there's a lot of options for him to choose from in terms of being able to break through here. But the easiest option would just be a bunch of what did I say? What are these called? Behemoth. Yeah, just a bunch of behemoths, upgraded behemoths. Yeah, that would just be the easiest option. Just a ton of behemoths moving through. Massive meat shield wall that can't be killed. That might be all it takes, but seems like we're still pretty far away from that. Fez finally using his eco, which is good. He's finally using all his metal for seems like the first time in the game. But yeah, Fez with these battleships is going to be pretty tough to deal with. Of course, there's an Annihilator off the shore doing some pretty good damage, and these warlords are vulnerable to being surrounded, so Fez is going to definitely want to micro those out of range of his opponent there. But guys, this game is very back and forth, and at this point it's hard to even say who's ahead. Some epic battles so far, and both players really fighting for control of everything, of the land, air, and sea. And neither player seems to be able to get a foothold. But Race with this naval armada might be able to finally get control of the southern part of the map at the very least. We will see this warlord getting surrounded. Of course, they have a metric ton of health, so it's not so easy to kill a warlord, as you can see. But I think he will eventually kill it. He simply swarmed it to death. However, under the water we have some lampreys, and these are the T2 torpedoes. T2 torpedo launcher, or torpedo defense. And these are very, very strong. And of course, given that they're under the water, they do require specialized counters. We have a Hydra as well, but Hydra will not be so good in this kind of melee range engagement. And here on the land, the battle continues to rage. Let's see what Race has got. Yeah, Race also on T3 now, building a Cerberus. And He's got another bombing contingent ready to go whenever he decides he wants to use that. But as of now, neither team really making much headway. And this Rebel, this is what I was talking about earlier, using this hovercraft. It's got 8 kills already. This is probably the best use for the Rebel, I think. As a kind of harassment tool, or a raiding tool. It can chew through these this eco pretty easily. As you can see, these pulverizers barely hurt it. It's pretty much immune to a lot of this T1 defense, and it can do a lot of economic harassment. And just keep moving through. You can see that just one of these rebels has done so much damage here. I kind of wish he had used them earlier for this purpose. But either way, this rebel has almost 20 kills. And now, race with a Cerberus in the mix. Of course, one Cerberus probably won't make a huge difference, but as he adds more Cerberi into his army, that could certainly turn the tide on the land. But again, at this point, guys, I'm not even sure who's winning. It is very close. Both the economies are pretty close. Of course, Race's economy is better. He has more energy, and I think he's reclaiming things right now, so we don't have a... Yeah. I think he's at about 600 metal per second. And Fez is at about... well, no. So Race looks to be at about 570 metal per second, and Fez at 507. So they're still relatively close. But Race is pulling ahead in the eco department. And, man. Okay, so Fez has finally built a mammoth. Of course, it seems like with the pathfinding, this thing is just going the wrong way. It's trying to get out of the base there. But, wow, this sea battle continues to rage. Now a Leviathan in the mix, and this is a T2 battle submarine, and these things are absolutely nasty. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen one of these before now. Of course, the disadvantage of the Leviathan is that it cannot target hovercraft. But this should, in naval engagements, give Fez quite an advantage. And here on the land, it is a different story, because the Cerberus MK2 kicking ass and taking names. It's only got 4 kills so far. But yeah, these Cerberus are no joke, and being backed up by shooters as well. It should be a pretty powerful combination. Of course, man, that Cerberus is it's getting melted. It's just kind of getting hit by a little bit of everything, but it did tank a ton of damage, and it might be able to give these shooters a chance. However, Fez bringing down his battleship and some cruisers as well to ward off this aggression. But oh-ho, Race with a sneaky run by here in the south part of the map. But oh my god, look at all this defense, man. Look at all of these upgraded GATs. Oh, melt. Oh, that is so disgusting. Look at how fast these bulldogs. Race thought he was being cheeky, and Fez was like, I'm ready for you, buddy. I know what you're doing. Oh, no. Be gone, tot. Oh, that was so funny. No, I gotta give it, man. I gotta give it to Fez. I mean, that is a scary defensive position that he's got built up there. So you know, that's a big oof moment if I ever did see it. And but now FEZ on the counteroffensive with a few different mammoths. Okay, so the mammoth is a really interesting T3 unit. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a super sumo, except I mean sumos are K-bots, but it's kind of like that. It's not a K-bot, but it's a general principle of like it's slow, but it has these extremely powerful green lasers and a billion health. So yeah, the mammoth is a strange one. It is a strange T3 unit. But man, I have to say, FEZ with this combined sea and land attack, you know, with the powerful naval bombardments from the river, and the mammoths here in the front. He's also added some pillagers as well. It's kind of an interesting choice. But yeah, this combined land and sea aggression is a really nice mix. And will it be enough though? I don't know. It's a lot of shooters, but I mean the shooters don't have a ton of health. Theoretically, these warlords can really can just chew through the shooters from a massive distance. I mean, look at the range. Look at the frickin' range, bruh. That's so sick. Look at this. Oh my god. I mean, those warlords are just wreaking havoc on the land there. This is such a cool game. This is such a neat combination of naval and land engagements, and they're like really interacting with each other. The battles are kind of intersecting with one another, and man, those warlords have just been so devastating the whole game. Let's see, 25 kills on that one, 6 kills on that one. But Race is ready for his counterattack. He cannot let FEZ have control of the sea like this. He's bringing to bear his whole army, and oh, here comes the bombers as well. And these ships are perfectly lined up for a nice bombing run straight through there. That's gonna hit pretty much everything. And FEZ has failed to include any anti-air in his naval fleet, so that's that is a critical mistake. That is a critical mistake. Just one or two Cobras, just one or two anti-air ships could really have just wiped those bombers out, but he has none, and now that may have been the difference. That may have turned the tide into Race's favor on the seas. So again, guys, bringing everything to bear, land, sea, and air in this game. And now it seems like Race will probably take control of the sea, at least temporarily. But I don't know. FEZ is bringing down yet another battleship. But man, these bombers are just devastating. And FEZ finally bringing some anti-air into the game. He's got some Vamps. Those Vamps, a nice counter to the bombers, but he's got to micro them. Oh my god, dude. But Race ready with an archer. Race is ready. He already had the anti-air queued up. Now those Vamps will go to town on the bombers. The bombers not getting too much really for their trouble. They did most of their damage out at the sea, and they were quite impressive indeed on the high seas. So wow, this naval battle just continuing to rage, continuing to go back and forth, you know, with no end in sight. Both players just playing their hearts out. Just really, I mean, pulling out all the stops, pulling everything out of the hat. A lot of really cool strategies and mechanics being used here. And now Race, kind of on the front line, building a big Bertha. What a pro! What a pro! Building a big Bertha just on the front line here. He's like, fuck it, why not? I mean, at this point, would anything surprise you? I mean, what we've seen in this game is not meant to be observed by mortal eyes. I mean, so, you know, why not? Why not build a Bertha on the front line? Guys, I'm just checking out the player bases to see if there's anything I missed. Race has gone T3 air, and that could be quite a game-ending proposition, depending on what he builds. Certainly, we'd love to see some Auroras. I would not turn my nose up at an Aurora bombing run. That is just awesome to see. And, ooh, man, Race has not skimped on the air defense at all. Look at all these whiplashes. That's impressive. I mean, if any air goes basically anywhere, if air comes within like a mile of the southeastern corner of the map, it is going to get demolished pretty much instantly. So, yeah, I mean, really interesting choices by Race, going for another T3 K-Bot lab, and he's already got 2 ultra vehicle plants, building some Chimera, building a Demolisher. Now, guys, if you're not familiar with Escalation, the Chimera is like it's a mobile paralyzer tank. I mean, most of its damage is just EMP. It doesn't do a lot of actual DPS, but it is very good at immobilizing and paralyzing entire armies. So that's the role of the Chimera. If I remember, that's what it does. I think it can even paralyze T3, so it might make the difference in a big T3 engagement. The Demolisher is like a T3 penetrator. So think of a penetrator, which is the ARM T2 vehicle with the blue laser cannon. The Blod, blue laser of death. And this is like a T3 variant of that. Where'd it go? Right here. So the Demolisher is like essentially the same principle as the penetrator, except crank the knob up to 10, or crank the dial to 10 and rip the knob off. That's the Demolisher. But this Bertha has been completed. What's it targeting though? It's hard to say. I would be amazed if that Bertha lasted for any amount of time. That is so on the front lines. That is such a vulnerable position. And all FEZ would have to do is kind of breathe on it. But, man, Race really, he's got a nice composition with these upgraded Centurions. And, oh, maybe that Bertha will survive. I mean, FEZ is going to have to be able to move east to take advantage of it. Let's see how many kills. See how many kills the Annihilator has. The Annihilator has 8 kills. The Bertha has no kills. But oh, the Demolisher did fire for the first time. God, the range is massive on those things. I don't even see it on the screen. There it is. There's the Demolisher. You can kind of see its range here. It can hit targets all the way down here with its railgun. Very cool. But Race throwing the kitchen sink at FEZ, attempting to defend his wall of Berthas here, trying to halt the aggression. Of course, these Annihilators doing a great job as well. And this Chimera would be nice to bring into the battle too. It could maybe paralyze these mammoths. That would be a nice option. But man, this Demolisher doing so much work. However, the Warlord's still hitting from off the from off the coast. Man, the range of the Demolisher is stupidly long. It's so funny. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about the Chimera. Maybe it does do actual damage. I thought it was just an EMP tank. I thought it was just a T3 EMP. Yeah, maybe not. I think I'm just wrong about the Chimera. It's a lightning. It's a T3 lightning tank, but that is not the way it's meant to be used, and this Chimera will simply evaporate before it can get too much accomplished. And FEZ continuing to rain down fire with these warlords, and now there's 5 of them. Oh my goodness. That is disgusting. And Race just doesn't have an answer, man. Like, Race has kind of given up the sea battle, it feels. And much to his chagrin, because that is not a healthy choice in this situation. Race really needs to fight for the sea, because he cannot just let these warlords run amok. The problem is that FEZ just has such dominant naval position now with 6 warlords and 4 Leviathans or Leviathans. It is just going to be so tough to remove him from the sea. Of course, these Demolishers are decent option as well. They will damage those warlords. But these Berthas are starting to put in their damage, I assume. Let's see. 2 kills on that one, 3 kills on that one. These Annihilators worth their weight in gold, like 35 kills between them. And a Race beginning to move through. Cerberus in the front, and Demolishers in the back. Some shooters for good measure. And Race very cleverly moving a force through here to kind of distract the warlords temporarily, to give his ground army a chance to move through unmolested. And very, very well played indeed, I think. Very nice distraction on Race's part to give his land army time to make some headway into FEZ's side of the map. But these warlords are now back, and Race will probably have to retreat. These warlords, man, it's unreal. The amount of DPS they're putting out is it's ungodly. I mean, how do you quantify it? Let's see. 18 kills, 4 kills, 8 kills, 11 kills, 13 kills, 6 kills, 2 kills. But even if they don't get the killing blow, like, the point is they're just softening up the entire army. Oh my goodness, look at this. It's not right. It's not right. Oh. A lot of scouts moving in. You know what that means. If FEZ is scouting, it probably means he's got something up his sleeve. He wouldn't... Probably got some kind of diabolical plan that he's designed. But oh my god, those Annihilators are... well, they're annihilating the warlords. Damn. That's nasty. And the Demolishers as well. The Demolishers a decent counter to these warlords, and Race doing a fine job of pushing back the sea power of FEZ with just these ground-based counters, the Annihilators and the Demolishers. And guys, this is getting scary. This is getting scary for FEZ, because Race's ground composition now is I I don't know how to describe it. It's disgusting. I mean, we've got 3 demolishers here in the back for that long-range fire support. We've got some Cerberus in the front. Oh man. And now that Fez has backed off his warlords, once again, Race will begin to move through the southern part of the map unmolested. And these demolishers are just scary. Let's see. 20 kills? 17 kills? Oh, that one's only got 2 kills. But yeah, the warlord's moving back into range. I mean, this is such a push and pull kind of situation. But, oh, Race. You're not gonna try this again, are you? He's doing it. The crazy bastard. The crazy bastard. He's doing it. He's doing it. He's gonna move through the south. And now an overlord. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. How many kills do these have? Oh, there must be something bugged out about that. I know they have more kills than that. This game is just stupid. It is just stupid. Like, what carnage? Neither player giving an inch. Neither player able to break through. And what breaks the stalemate here? Ugh. These demolishers in the back continuing to do good damage. But these warlords continuing to make it difficult for Race to advance. And now this overlord, absolute monstrosity, pelting targets from afar. But he wants to keep this warlord back. But again, the Maginot Line here, man. The Great Wall of China. It won't be broken. And Race has got to be careful because he might lose his whole army here. He does not want to lose these demolishers. They're very expensive, and they're not meant to be in the front lines like this and just taking that devastating fire from the sea. Oh my god, dude. It's just non-stop, and this overlord is just not helping matters at all. What the hell? That looked like a nuke. That looked like a nuke. What was that? Alright, we're gonna have to pause the game and figure out what just happened, guys. That looks like a nuke to me. It was a nuke. Yeah, here's the nuke. And Fez just nuked the army. He's like, the hell with this, bro. I'm just gonna nuke the army. Because, you know, fuck you. Oh, that was so funny. He just nuked the army. He's like, oh. Oh god, I'm having way too much fun, man. This is outrageous. It's outrageous! Alright, this overlord is, let's look. 30 kills. This is like the Scathus. If anyone's played Forged Alliance, this is like the Scathus from Forged Alliance. It's just... It's kind of like a mobile Vulcan. Not quite as strong as that, but basically that's the idea. As with anything, the mobile versions are cheaper, but still quite powerful in this situation. Let's get rid of this. Oh my goodness. I mean, what are they gonna do? Like, neither team can make headway at all. And these warlords, uncontested, unstoppable. Ugh. Oh, they are repairing the warlord. That's a nice play. That's a nice play, I gotta say. But champions are now moving in. Race with a lot of champions. Moving them through the bottom here. And I wonder what his plan is with these. This is the T3 hovercraft, I believe. So we'll have to see how he wants to utilize those champions. And he has been on T3 air for a while, but he hasn't really used it in the way that I had hoped. Really, some Auroras could be very nasty. He's got some Vertigos, which are, if I remember, it's the T3 anti-air fighter. And these champions are now moving into range of the warlords. But even a T3 hovercraft cannot withstand the might of all of these warlords. But I mean, he's chasing them off. Yeah, the champion will chase these off, and another champion coming through the north. And unfortunately, these Leviathans can't target the champions unless they attack the basically use the attack command to bug the game's targeting AI, but yeah, naturally these Leviathans can't target the champions, and I mean, it's looking pretty scary. And now a ton of air moving in to finish the job. Fez with his own air coming in, and we are having a massive dogfight over the ocean here. It's midway, boys. Who is going to come out on top? I think Race is going to come out on top because he's got the T3 anti-air, and Vamps just don't stand a chance. And once again, Race attempting to break all this defense. I mean, he is just relentlessly attacking the Great Wall. Can he do it? Can the Raptor do it? Is it possible? Most of these warlords are now gone. I can't believe it. Race finally taking back the sea. And also making some headway into the base, but there's just so much defense here. Just so much defense. Even a Raptor may not be enough. It's fighting its little heart out. It's doing what it can, but even the Raptor will be stopped short there. Just so much defense down there. So, but still, Race has taken back the sea from Fez, who just felt like he was in control of it for so long. But man, that's a lot of Mortys and Mammoths and Overlords. And these Berthas, I mean, they're doing work. Here comes another nuke. Oh, nice. That nuke will take out the Berthas. So that is no longer a factor. And Fez now moving in for a counterattack. But he's got to be careful. This Overlord is exposed. He's getting hit by demolishers. Of course, it's firing in return. It's counterattacking. And this champion getting hit by some warlords. So, what a battle. But yeah, this Overlord needs to back off. He's going to lose it. Every demolisher hit, so devastating. It's getting really low. It's at like 1/8 health. It's just so low. Here comes that aerial force. FEZ just does not have enough anti-air here. And this many T2 and T3 fighters will chew through anything over time. That Overlord might make it out. It's at a sliver of health. Let's see. 72 kills. Good God Almighty, 72 kills on that bad boy. But yeah, this Warlord is not long for this world. We'll take out a Mantle Extractor before going down, so it does get something accomplished. But yeah, that Overlord has just been just an absolute thorn in Race's side since it was built, and now it's got so many kills. He's got some Krogoths too, so now he's got a Krogoth coming into the mix. If he could repair this Overlord and kind of consolidate his army, he might be able to do a Krogoth Overlord push. But Race now with 2 champions, and I don't know. I'm really surprised that Race has not done more to a victory. Now I can't remember. Is this a T3 shipyard or T4? It must be. Yeah, this is T3. So this is a T3 shipyard, but like the victory is basically like a T3.5. It's almost a T point. It's like a T4 unit basically on the sea. So I think this is kind of where Race is putting his cards into that victory, because I mean this thing is it makes those warlords that we've been seeing all game kind of pale in comparison. I mean it makes those warlords we've seen the whole game look like little baby ships. It could pretty much hit all of FEZ's base once it gets on the west side of the river. The victory could, but as you can see, these Leviathans cannot normally target hovercrafts, but FEZ is manually attacking them with the torpedoes, which is allowing him to defend this push. So yeah, nice manual targeting there by FEZ, stopping this engagement, and Race will be forced to retreat there. So nicely played there by FEZ. But in the meantime, there's another engagement here at the bottom. And with a Krogoth in the mix, this could. Oh my God, that Krogoth is just evaporating. 4 demolishers, tons of shooters. Yeah, I've never seen a Krogoth die that fast. Race just has a lot of really great counters right now to the Krogoth. And I mean, FEZ is attempting to repair the Overlord, but I just don't know if it's He needs to keep it alive. That Overlord is really important. Second Krogoth on the way. And he shoots another nuke into the fray. Probably going to land on these demolishers. Yes, it will. And you can see how much health those demolishers have. Even a nuke does not kill them. But yeah, these demolishers have played such a pivotal role. Wow. Look at that artillery fire. Finally, FEZ has finished a buzzsaw. I think that's going to play a big part in this, in the defense. Let's keep an eye on it. Where did the... I'm trying to figure out where this... There it goes. It's firing. Yeah. The buzzsaw, quite a nuisance. Of course, FEZ doesn't have the energy to support it right now. FEZ is going to need more energy. Race basically doubling FEZ's energy at this moment. So that buzzsaw is going to need more energy in order to fire at max speed, or to fire at its full rate. But the victory is finished, and this thing is, it's an engine of destruction. It's a game ender. Victory is designed to end games. This is designed to break the stalemate situation that we currently find ourselves in. But I don't know, but this many Leviathians could kill it. I don't think that the victory does have much in the way of anti-sub defense. So while it will be able to target the warlords, I don't think it can kill the Leviathians too easily. I could be wrong about that. I mean, it might have sub defense, but I don't think it does. But you can see, like, oh, here comes another nuke. Oh man, you can see this victory is barely taking damage from the warlords. Of course, it's mostly hitting the walls there. Yeah, he needs to position it a little better so that it can bring all of its guns to bear on these warlords and take them all out. But the problem is just there's so many subs here, and I don't think it has any sub defense. But look how quickly it takes out the warlords. These things just don't stand a chance. Now he's maybe focusing the Overlord? It's hard to say what he's focusing. A Raptor is moving through the south here, but it's just not going to be enough. There's just too much defense. And this victory isn't being defended. I can't tell what he's targeting with it. Looks like he's trying to target the Overlord, maybe. But it's hard to say. I mean, look how much health it has. FEZ will eventually kill it. Race just did not defend this thing very well. He didn't, FEZ has so many submarines. And now a second Overlord. A second Overlord by FEZ. And that victory will eventually go down. So I don't know. It's such a close game. It's still such a close game. but another victory on the field, and now a Vertigo, which is a T3 hovercraft. Let's see what it technically is called. Here it is. Vertigo. Oh no. If I can find it. I don't see it here. Sorry guys, I can't. Let's see what this is. It is a T3 hovercraft. I don't know why I can't. Oh no, this is an Aeon. Sorry. I misread that. It's an Aeon. So, the Aeon is a hover battleship. So it's pretty similar to the Victory. In function. But he's also brought some stalkers. So this is anti-submarine submarines. It's a mouthful. So with the stalkers, can he finally take control of the sea again? Look at the range of the Victory. Oh my god, dude. The combination of the Aeon and the Victory is unreal. FEZ bringing his subs up desperately to try and stop this. And the land battle continues to rage in the south. Now a Centaur on the field, which means that Race has gone T4 land as well. It feels like Race just has such a technological advantage at this point. He's doubling FEZ's eco, more than doubling his eco. And he's just, even though FEZ is certainly using his units better, like FEZ is using what he has more efficiently, it just feels like Race is winning in terms of the technology war. I mean, just Race just has better stuff. He just has superior quality armies. And even though FEZ is using his armies better, I mean, FEZ is undoubtedly making every unit count. Race, I think, is just winning this war of value. And of course, the Centaur, aka the Super Fido, should be able to demolish this Overlord in no time. But yeah, the Aeon will, I think, eventually go down. Maybe not. Maybe he can pull it out in time. But yeah, even the Centaur starting to crumble, and we'll have to see. Does Race want to go? He's building another Centaur, but I was hoping he would do a oh, what's it called? Oh no, none of this stuff. What is this? Where's the oh, that must be a core unit. I must be thinking of the, like, maybe an Avalon. Maybe an Avalon would do it. But yeah, Race sending some scouts over. And okay, FEZ moving his subs through, but it might be a mistake. Race has some counters. He's got some stalkers. He's got some underwater sub defense as well. And FEZ, this might be a mistake. FEZ was taking the only advantage he had in the sea, which was the sub control, and now he's kind of throwing it away for no real reason. And now Race with 2 victories, an Aeon, But as I was saying earlier, I'm really surprised that that Race has not really leaned on his aerial advantage more throughout this game. I mean, Race could have with some Auroras. I mean, Fez has relatively little air defense, a lot of flax, but for like a T3, a dedicated T3 aerial assault, that just wouldn't really amount to much. He doesn't really have the T3 air defense built up, and that would kind of be the what you would need to stop some kind of T3 assault of say Auroras. So yeah, it really surprises me that Race has not tried to dominate from the skies more. There was a couple bombing runs in the middle of the game, but I feel like he could have leveraged his advantage a lot better there than what he has. He just has aerial control at this point, and Fez does not have enough air defense to really stop Race from just bombing his base into oblivion. Here comes another nuke. Very nice. What else? Oh wait, what was that? What are these? Experimental construction vehicle. Okay. So there's still 3 overlords, which will make pushing very difficult. But if we could get these victories onto the western side of the map, Race could theoretically just kill Fez's base from afar. Man, even these centaurs don't stand a chance. I mean, centaurs are so strong, but like, this game is so outrageous that it makes centaurs look like regular Fidos. You know, these centaurs probably have like 100 times the health of a Fido, but there's just so much firepower on Fez's side. Even the centaurs don't stand much of a chance. But finally, these overlords, excuse me, the Aeon and the Victory is moving into range, and I think these overlords are probably going to die before they do die. This one had 28 kills, 15 kills, and 37. Certainly no slouch. Centaur will go down, but now the Raptor is in range. And this Krogoth, if it gets on top of these demolishers, it's going to be pretty devastating. Might just take those out really quickly. Oh my goodness. But now that these victories are in range, even that Krogoth is going to fall pretty quickly. And Race may just make landfall with this Aeon. I think you should avoid this group of subs up here. Just avoid that completely. Take it on land so they can't hit it with the torpedoes. That is my genuine advice. Get this out of the water. Oh, nice, and we got some T3 torpedo bombers as well. Attempting to take care of those Leviathians. But now this Aeon is in range of Race's base. I mean, excuse me, of FEZ's base. This Aeon is in range of FEZ's base, and man, as amazing as a game that this has been. Oh my god. That victory is just melting. Like, these victories are supposed to be game enders. And FEZ is just making it look like nothing. But Race is using his aerial control to really to get an advantage now, and this Krogoth is getting absolutely swarmed with torpedoes, so that's gonna go down. But what I was saying is, like, as crazy and back and forth of a game as this has been, like, I think Race is at the point now that he's looking a bit unstoppable. I think he might eventually just win this war of attrition with these victories. Slowly floating to the left side with these Aeons. He's more or less taking control of the sea now. He's doing some scouting. What else does he have? Yeah, once those victories can get in range of the eco, that's probably going to be it. I mean, the range is just outrageous, and FEZ has done an incredible job stopping the aggression until now, but there's just nothing left. There's a bunch of radar planes. But yeah, I don't think there's anything left to stop these victories and these Aeons from just slowly picking apart FEZ's base. And FEZ continuing to nuke Race on the ground. But I don't think it matters. I think Race may have finally done it. He may have finally broken his opponent once these Aeons make landfall. Guys, that may be it. This reminds me a little bit of Red Alert Command and Conquer. You guys remember the battleships or cruisers in that game? For the English, once they got on your coastline, or the Allies, once they got on your coastline, they could just demolish your base from a massive range. And that's kind of what this feels like. FEZ just has no answer to this anymore. There's just nothing left. Krogoth will evaporate. And man, FEZ played really well. Both players played so incredibly well. I mean, it could have gone either way. And there may have even been things I missed because there was so much going on, but like, this was a great showcase of all the different elements of escalation of TA, the land, sea, and air, all combined into one. And yeah, FEZ's base now on death's door once he takes out these antimatter reactors. Oh, another nuke coming down. But yeah, nukes are just not going to do much anymore. Oh, I stand corrected. I mean, he took out a victory. He took out a lot. That's surprising. I'm surprised at how much damage that one nuke did. And that's a lot of rapiers, a lot of gunships. And now race moving through the sea. Here comes another nuke. Nice. And I just don't know if there's going to be enough to stop race all these submarines from just moving in. FEZ does survive for a little bit longer with that well-placed nuke, but it just feels like it's only a matter of time before race ends the game. He just has such a massive economic advantage. And these submarines just feel invincible. There's nothing that can stop them. The warlords have no anti-sub defense. Another nuke flies out. Man, these nukes have been keeping FEZ in the game for sure. Really well done. And Race hasn't really built any anti-nukes, and he could have. There's aircraft carriers can build anti-nukes on the sea. There's mobile anti-nukes on the ground. But yeah, these tornadoes dominating the sea, just taking these warlords out. And these torpedo launchers continuing to prove to be a problem for Race, but maybe it doesn't matter anymore. Race is basically taken over the sea. And man, I can't believe this game is still going on. I mean, Race is just... he's so far ahead, but he can't finish it. You can see how little damage the nuke did to the Centaurs, but everything else it did pretty good damage to. He really needs some mobile anti-nukes. He needs some Scarabs. Because these nukes are a huge problem. Wow. Yeah, these nukes are such a problem, man. Now FEZ is asking for a draw. And he says he has some more surprises in store. What surprises could FEZ have at this point in this game? I don't know. But I don't think Race is willing to call it a draw. And to be honest, Race probably could have won already if he had just built some anti-nukes. The lack of anti-nuke is really It's really hurting him here. But now he's building an Avalon. And could the Avalon finally end the game? He's also building a Gargant. As if the victory was not enough. The problem is, it just doesn't matter how many times Race pushes in if he's just going to keep getting nuked. This is so silly. Look at all that construction power in the air. Okay, the Avalon is on the field. Can it do anything? Okay, the Gargant is on the field as well. So many overlords. Oh my goodness. I mean, Fez said he still had some surprises. But I just don't understand why Race won't build anti-nukes. Oh my god, that was like 5 nukes. That was 5 nukes. He just took out the Avalon with 5 nukes. This is just stupid. I mean, Fez cannot be killed. That's a lot of gunships. That is a lot of gunships. Here comes the anti-air. Slow it down. But Fez has anti-air of his own. Oh no, the Skynet's dominating the skies. Fez baited him into that. And at this point, Race has to just be frustrated as hell. Like he knows he's in the winning position, but he just can't. He can't, you can't close the book. Where's the anti-nukes, man? I mean, at this point, I don't even think Fez has a plan to win. He's just like playing not to lose, but his base is going to be almost impossible to break if Race doesn't build anti-nukes. He's just gotta have anti-nukes, man. Fez is just gonna keep nuking his armies. Once again, the lines of defense that never end. But they've broken through. They've broken through with the Raptors, the Cerberus. More nukes. But the Gargant is still alive. I've never seen one of these things in action. I couldn't tell you what this monster even does, dude. I could not tell you what its purposes or anything. It seems like its purpose right now is to be a giant piece of shit. And it's doing that pretty admirably. But Race is moving through with a couple Raptors here. Gargant goes down. What's going on up here? More boats moving in. Race slowly making some headway. But yeah, like at this point, I think it's a foregone conclusion, but Ray's just not able to finish it. He has a supremacy now. It's like a T4. Some more nukes. T4 aerial fortress. And can the supremacy end the game? It's doing a good job. I mean, it's pretty nasty. Race moving it up out of FEZ's anti-air range. And that will be... yeah, I think he's done it. I think Race finally with this supremacy will break FEZ's final defenses and ruin his economy. And with that, guys, I don't think there's much else that FEZ can do to drag this out, because it is over. This Avalon, so tanky. But yeah, the supremacy is going to take control of the game. And Race finally able to claim victory. But guys, that's pretty much going to be the game. I hope you enjoyed it. That was I think the longest game of escalation I've ever cast. That was a long, long game. But pretty epic, a lot of twists and turns. And definitely either player could have won, but overall I think Race just had the better eco and the better better technology, better army. But Fez played his heart out, and Fez really hanging on until the end. There's his commander. Yeah, Fez really hanging on until the end, using everything at his disposal. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Very interesting, very well played, very entertaining. And what a game. What a game, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next cast.